All right, let's talk about it. That big English job interview is coming up and you want to absolutely nail it, right? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how to do that. We've got simple tricks, powerful formulas, everything you need to walk in there feeling confident and ready to make a killer first impression, even if you're a little nervous right now. Sound good? Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. Let's just be real for a second. Feeling nervous about an interview in a language that's not your native tongue? Yeah, that is 100% normal. I mean, it's a super high pressure situation. But here's the good news. We're going to swap that nervousness for some serious preparation and a game plan that actually works.
And this right here, this is probably the most important thing you'll hear today. It's a total mindset shift. Your interviewer isn't your English teacher, you know? They're not sitting there with a red pen waiting for you to make a grammar mistake. Nope. They just want to know, can you get your ideas across clearly? They want to understand the value you bring. So the big takeaway is this: aim for clarity, not perfection. Seriously, your value is in your brilliant ideas, not whether you use the past perfect tense correctly. Okay, so how do we actually build that confidence? Let's get right into it with our first section, instant fluency hacks. And you should really think of these as your secret weapons. They're simple tricks you can use to sound more fluent and feel way more in control, right from the moment you say hello. So let's unpack these 4 hacks. Now, they might look simple, but trust me, their impact is huge. First up, slow down. You know how when we get nervous, we tend to talk a mile a minute, especially in a second language? Well, consciously slowing down is a game changer. It gives your brain a second to catch up, and it makes you sound way more thoughtful and deliberate. Next, keep it simple. Seriously, you don't need to pull out of the source for this. Your goal is powerful, clear sentences, not trying to sound like a walking dictionary. Third, you gotta learn to love the pause. That little moment of silence, it's not awkward. It's a power move. It shows you're thinking, that you're confident. And finally, use connectors. These are your best friends. Simple words like so, also, and because of that, they're like the glue that makes your sentences flow together smoothly. Okay, let's look at a classic trap we all fall into when we're trying to sound super impressive. You might say something like this: I endeavored to facilitate the optimization of the workflow. Whew. I mean, it sounds kind of smart, I guess, but really, it's just clunky and confusing. Now look at the alternative. The difference is just night and day. I improve the workflow to make it faster. Boom. It's direct, it's confident, anyone can understand it instantly. This is what recruiters are listening for. So if you remember one thing from this section, make it this: clarity beats complexity every single time. All right, so now we know how to speak with more confidence. Let's switch gears and talk about what to say, especially at the very beginning. Welcome to Section 2, Nailing Your Introduction. We're talking about that classic first question. So tell me about yourself. This is your moment to set a powerful, positive tone for the whole interview. And for this question, I've got a secret weapon for you. It's called the present, past, future formula. And please, whatever you do, do not just read your resume out loud. This simple structure helps you build a short, powerful story about who you are, what you've accomplished, and where you want to go next. It's just so clean, so professional, and best of all, it's super easy to remember under pressure. Okay, so here's how it works. You kick things off with the present, that's who you are and what you do right now. Then you jump back to the past, but just for a second, to share a key experience or skill that's super relevant to the job you're interviewing for. And then you bring it all home with the future. This is where you connect everything to this company and this role, explaining why you're so excited about it. See what we did there? It's not just a boring list of facts, it's a real story, and it all points directly to why you're the perfect fit. So what does that actually sound like? Something like this. Currently, I'm a software engineer specializing in that's your present. In my previous role at company name, I led a project that actually increased efficiency by 20%. There's your past. And see how that number makes it so much more impactful? And then you finish with, I'm really excited about this opportunity because, and that's your future. See, it's the perfect little 30-second pitch about you. Okay, you've totally nailed the intro. Now let's get into the real meat of the interview with Section 3. Telling compelling stories. This is all about how to answer those tricky behavioral questions. You know, the ones that start with, tell me about a time when. Here's the thing about those questions. The interviewer doesn't just want a yes or no. They want proof. They want to see your skills in action. And the absolute best way to do that is by telling a great story.
And for that, the STAR method is the gold standard. It's a simple framework that helps you turn a basic answer into a really memorable, impactful story. So STAR is an acronym. It's got 4 super simple steps. First, S is for situation. Just quickly set the scene, give a little context. Then T is for task. What was the challenge or the goal you were facing? Next, and this is the most important part, A is for action. What did you do? Notice I said you. You want to use the word I here, not we. They're interviewing you, not your old team. And finally, R is for result. What happened in the end? What was the positive outcome? And hey, if you can throw a number or a statistic in there, even better. Let's see this in action. It makes so much more sense with an example. So the question is about handling a tough deadline. Situation: a couple of team members were sick right before a big launch. Yikes. Task: you had to make sure the project still launched on time. The action, and here's the key part, I prioritized critical tasks. I volunteered to stay late. See, it's all about what you did. And the result? The project launched on time, the client was thrilled, and your manager even gave you props for it. That is a perfect, rock-solid answer. All right, let's talk about those questions that can make even the most confident person start to sweat a little. Welcome to Section 4, Handling Tricky Questions. This is all about building your toolkit so when those tough moments come up, you can handle them like a pro and stay totally calm and collected. You knew it was coming, right? The single most dreaded question in any interview. So, what are your weaknesses? Ugh, we've all been there. And look, saying I'm a perfectionist or I just work too hard is such a cliche they'll roll their eyes. And saying I don't have any weaknesses? Well, that's just not believable. So, what on earth are you supposed to say? There's a winning formula for this, and it's actually pretty simple. You share a real weakness, but, not a deal breaker, and then you immediately talk about what you're actively doing to get better at it. This strategy is just brilliant because it flips a negative into a huge positive. It shows you're self-aware, you're proactive, and you're committed to growing, and that is exactly what managers want to see. And here are a few magic phrases for your toolkit. Think of these as your safety net. You don't have to have a perfect answer right away. If your mind goes blank, just buy yourself some time with, "That's a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a second." And if you have no idea what they just asked, please don't guess. Just politely say, "Could you please rephrase that?" These little phrases are so powerful because they put you back in control of the conversation.
And don't forget, so much of your communication isn't even about the words you say. It's your body language. Try to maintain some good eye contact. It shows you're engaged and being honest. Sit up straight. It literally projects more energy and confidence. And please, remember to smile. It makes you seem way more friendly. And believe it or not, it's scientifically proven to help reduce your own stress levels. It's a win-win.
Okay, we are in the home stretch now. You've got the right mindset, you've got the methods. Now it's time to put it all together with Section 5, your final checklist. This is your game plan for the day before your interview to make sure you walk in there feeling totally prepared. Look, confidence comes from preparation. It's that simple. So don't just think about this stuff, actually do it. Research the company and their latest news. Practice your tell me about yourself answer out loud at least 10 times until it flows naturally. Have 3 different STAR stories ready to go. One about a success, one about a failure you learned from, and one about handling a conflict. And that last one is so important. Have at least 2 smart questions ready to ask them. Remember, an interview is a two-way street. Asking good questions shows that you're interviewing them too. So there you have it. We've gone over the hacks, the formulas, the checklists. You have all the tools you need. At the end of the day, an interview isn't just about answering questions correctly. It's about telling your story, your professional story, with clarity and with confidence. So the only real question left is, what amazing story are you going to tell? Now go get 'em.